What is going on, everybody? It is me. It is John. We're here to talk all things Matlock. I am in shock because before we went live, Justin didn't know what the hot dog referenced in Matlock. And he's been our producer for a long time.
I know. You know what? We'll cut him some slack. He's been very busy today, editing away with shorts and all kinds of things. So maybe he's tired. It's been a long day. We should cut him some slack.
Justin did, and inherit a fixer-upper car too. That's like his child that he didn't want that he now has. He's probably exhausted.
By the way, I like the new house. I'm glad that you finally got moved in and all settled since the last time we did Mattalk.
Thanks, man. I started playing the piano. It's been really, really good. I don't recommend probably don't want to hear any of that, but just doing my thing. It says Mattalk is live on Facebook because I'm trying to share the link to everybody, the Facebook link to all the groups and stuff, but I can't actually find the video, so it's driving me nuts.
Okay, so I hate to even ask Justin to come to the rescue, but maybe, I don't know.
No, I got it. It'll eventually populate. It's fine. I can multitask.
Oh, okay.
I'm not like John, where if I get a message, it's the
I don't multitask well.
No, it's fine though, man. We all have our cross to bear. But what are you watching, man?
Since the last time we talked, I've watched a couple of movies that I'd really like to talk about. I mean, ultimately, I don't know. Maybe we did talk about them last time. Did we talk about The Naked Gun? We did, didn't we? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And did we talk about Freaky? Yes, because you've seen it as well. Okay, so I really have nothing new then to talk about, other than I will say this. I'll bend the rules a little bit. I'm excited because when we're done recording this episode, I am going to go watch John Carpenter's debut film, 1976, Assault on Precinct 13. I've heard things about it from another podcast. I really definitely want to check it out. So I'm excited to check that out. So that's what I'm going to be watching later this evening. So how about you?
Yeah, What Went Wrong is the name of that podcast. And if you guys are not listening, you should. I binged all of the episodes, and I love those two. But so Max's mom texted me yesterday and goes, I'm watching the new Tyler Hines Christmas movie on Hallmark. And I said, that's not possible. Three Wisest Men doesn't come out till next week. And she's like, it's a different one. I'm like, he has two new Christmas movies. So I went to Hallmark Plus, and it wasn't there. So I was very upset because you could only watch it live last night. So it was a whole thing. So now I'm going to watch it tonight because I set it to record because I share my ex-girlfriend's YouTube live still, and I'll just watch it on that. But yeah, so Max's mom, good looking out on that. And all right, dude, I watched a Christmas movie last night about two Marines who dislike each other, who get sent on a mission to get toys for all the kids on the base because something happened at the toy delivery didn't come through. And you know how it goes. The two that don't like each other, their parents have a rivalry. They fall in love along the way, and it has a happy ending, as you would in a Hallmark Christmas movie. I don't know if any of the Marine stuff is accurate, but I had fun watching it. But I've been watching a lot of movies, man. I just watched Halloween 6 with a very young Paul Rudd. It's an awful movie, but for some reason I love it. Yeah, just a lot of TV and a lot of reading. I've been reading Stephen King's Revival.
Can I ask you a question? You mentioned something about sharing YouTube, right? Your YouTube live. I unfortunately was on my cousin's platform and HBO Max, but apparently HBO Max is hitting people hard because I got booted. So did my aunt. Got booted from that Max account. So just beware out there, folks. If you're sharing passwords, you're sharing platforms with people, even if they're plunking down a couple of bucks to help you out with the payment. HBO Max don't care. They'll boot you anyways, man.
They're all going to. And like I told you last week, I was transitioning all my Hulu stuff to Disney Plus. Succeeded. I'm done with that. But yeah, man. Luckily everybody freeloads off of me except for this YouTube Live, which I've only ever used it to watch Family Law, which is over now, and then the occasional Hallmark movie that doesn't hit Hallmark Plus right away. That's really all I use it for. So if it goes away, it goes away. It's not gonna break my TV watching spirit, but
Well, Justin put in our private chat that Return to Derry, and there's a new episode today that he's very excited for. So, yeah, give you that heart
dude,
thing.
if you like horror, Return to Derry it's only 2 episodes in, but it's one of the best horror shows I've ever seen. I don't care. 2 episodes in, I can say that. There's stakes. You don't know who's going to live or die. Literally, anybody could go, and I'm 1,000% digging it. We got a question or a comment. Hi, guys. I'm tuning in with your newest 17-day-old listener tonight. Congratulations, Liz.
Yes,
On
congrats.
the baby. Even though you didn't name it Jason or John, we still love the baby and love you guys. Highly recommend Sterling Harjo's new show, The Lowdown, if you're not watching that.
I've seen a lot of commercials for it. They've been hyping it hard on I believe, if I remember correctly, on TNT and TBS. I've been seeing a lot of ads for it. It looks interesting. It reminds me, I don't know if it is, but it reminds me of that older show with Michael K. Williams and James Purfoy, the one that I keep hyping up to everybody. And now I'm forgetting the name of it. Happen Leonard. There we go. Happen Leonard. It reminds me of that a little bit. But yeah, cool. We'll have to put that on the checkout list, if you will.
Yeah, I can. Big binge watch list might be new tonight, everybody. Fingers crossed that happens.
Wait. Why are you saying if it happens? What's wrong?
If James, parent life. Her husband's working 90 hours a week, so her time is very limited right now for the next few months, or I'd say few weeks still. So we might get a window tonight to do it at 8. I'm super excited if it happens, and if it doesn't, we'll hit it next week. But I've been watching a lot of stuff that her and I need to talk about.
Okay. And will you be broadcasting from your new home as well?
Yeah, I will. Maybe I'll play the piano.
Are you taking requests?
Yeah, dude. Hot cross buns is a classic. Itsy Bitsy Spider might be a little too complicated for me at this time, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
All right. Well, let's get into talking about this episode of Matlock. The name of the episode is The Singer, and its original air date was January 28th, 1993. And it's time for our new segment. It's prediction time. All right. It's where Jason is going to try to predict how many gavels I'm going to give this episode before we find that out, and vice versa. So, Jason, just you knowing me, what do you think? What do you think I'm going to say?
2.5.
I'm writing it down. I'm going to go 3 with you.
And I'm going to guess that Liz is going to be between the two of us. Like somewhere in the middle or right on par with one of us.
Well, Justin wants you to play Freebird, by the way, on the piano. So just
let me get there, man. Give me a couple hundred years and we'll be good to go.
A couple hundred years. All right, let's talk about some guest stars.
Hold on, John. We forgot to major announcement, everybody. So going with the trends of YouTube and everything, this will be the last show of Matlock where we review the show. Going on in the future, we're just going to have Andy Griffith as Ben Matlock sing the hip hop hits of the 90s on YouTube, and it's going to be great.
How are we managing to do this, by the way?
AI.
Okay. All right, good. So the budget's going to be very low for that. Okay. All right.
Can't wait to hear the Straight Outta Compton Ben Matlock remix.
I want to hear the Fantastic Voyage or Bombs Over Baghdad. I'd like to hear those two.
Can't wait. Maybe we can rewrite some of the lyrics to be about hot dogs.
All right, let's talk about these guest stars. The first one is probably very well known. His name is Jason Beggy, I believe is how it's pronounced. He will be playing the role of Lieutenant Pat Rutledge. You may know him as Hank Voight from all of the NBC Chicago shows, even a couple of episodes of Law & Order and Law & Order SVU. This character is like the current John Munch, if you will. Rest in peace, Richard Belzer. So he's probably most known for that. He's also played the role of the state trooper in Thelma and Louise, Royce in G.I. Jane, Alan Mann in Monkey Shines, Richard Bates in Californication, Mike Royce on Castle, Cormac Fitzpatrick on Veronica Mars, and 100 other roles. This guy is deep when it comes to having a bunch of credits to his resume. A lot of episodes for some shows. Some other shows are ones and dones, but still nonetheless, Jason Beghe, a man that is well known, especially due to Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Chicago Police, Chicago Garbage Disposals. I don't know what else other those shows that they make.
You know, I started watching Chicago PD. I made it to like season 4 or something, and it's exhausting only because you really there's so many crossovers between the 3 Chicago shows that me and Jamie talked about this on the Big Binge watch list. I wish that there would be an option with streaming. Buffy and Angel would be another good example of this, where you could just hit stream all 3 shows and they would stream them in order. So you can watch Fire, PD, Medical, episode 1. So you can get all the crossovers and everything as they go. So you don't have to hunt them down. Same thing. I wish Buffy and Angel would do that. It's a lot, especially when they start crossing over with SVU and stuff. Like I watch Law and Order. That's my cop shows. I can't go any further than that. But he was also replaced the original actor as Peter McAllister in Home Alone 4. And John, I can't believe you missed this, man. You are the sheer professional, and you missed that he was in a Perry Mason movie, The Case of the All-Star Assassin, and Murder, She Wrote, in 2 episodes in 89 and 90.
Oh my goodness, then let's get it. We got ourselves a hat trick. I am so sorry I overlooked those. I mean, like I said, he is deep with credits, but there you go. We have a hat trick, ladies and gentlemen.
I like this guy as an actor, and I recognized him immediately.
Oh yeah, besides maybe losing a little bit of hair, he looks exactly like he did in 93 as he does, in today's.
Yeah, I mean, he sounds like he smoked a few more cigarettes since then, but...
Well, you know what the funny part is? Do you know what that is? He had some type of, throat injury. Like, he got hit in the throat, and it screwed up his vocal cords and everything, and he had, I think if I'm not mistaken, if I remember hearing this correctly, I think that he had to kind of relearn how to properly speak and all that jazz. So that's why he's got that grovelly voice now, but not back then. So Justin just said in our private chat that he thought that he heard you say Chicago ED, which would be a totally different show.
I'm sure it exists.
Well, let's talk about our second guest star. His name is Peter Jurasik. He'll be playing the role of Steve Fisher. You may also know him as Crom in 1982's version of Tron. Londo Mollari on Babylon 5. Sid Thurston on Hill Street Blues. Howie Sanders in The Longest Ride. The hotel manager in the movie 42. Walter Kublik on Dawson's Creek. Dr. Geiger on Sliders. Principal Gresher on Third Rock from the Sun, Brad on Dear John, and almost 85 other credits to his name.
Yeah, he was in One Tree Hill, which is a popular show amongst some of my friends. He was in Problem Child. Did you shout that out?
I did not shout that out.
Yeah, I love that movie. He was also in a Columbo movie and a Perry Mason movie. No Murder, She Wrote, though.
No Murder, She Wrote. All right, let's move on to our final individual. Frederick Lenny, who's going to play the role of John. He is also known as, he has also been cast in the role of Mr. Hallett in The Greatest Showman, The Wolf in Zero Dark 30, Joe Lazenby in Ordinary People, Lieutenant Dave Noonan on Elsbeth, Colonel Bingham on Westworld, Edward Olson on Dexter, The New Blood, Fred Grover in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which is a criminally underappreciated movie, by the way. Just throwing that out there. Don Dunch, in Dr. Death, Carl Reynolds on Yellowstone, and about 130 other roles that he is well known for. So, and I think I pronounced his last name correctly.
Well, I've
I
got
believe
two
it's
more.
Lane.
Two more that I'll shout out. Joyce Lee Bowden, who played Casey. She was in, obviously, Matlock. She was also in the movie Weekend at Bernie's. Favorite of mine, a remake Revolution favorite of ours. And then
but wait a
also...
Didn't she only have like 8 credits though to her name?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
only, John. That's more than we have.
I got 2.
Okay. Mary McMillan, who played Beverly Bunny Du Bois, which we're going to get some comedy out of her in this episode.
Wait, time out. Are you going to be able to focus? Because I know how much you love the pretty ladies, and
Dude,
she's a pretty lady. Are you going to be able to focus for this part?
She was in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles as Auction Woman, and then she was in, and it's no small feat, and she was in I Know What You Did Last Summer as Mrs. Cox. Horror classic to some.
I like how you just totally disregarded what I called you out on.
I did, John. We have a 17-day-old listener, and we got to be appropriate. Okay.
Listen, Henry.
This poor kid has only been in this world for 17 days. Doesn't need any of our shenanigans or yours.
And Henry, listen. This is John Orlando talking to you. Look, my co-host likes to comment about the pretty ladies and how he'd like to go out with them. It's a thing that happens, and it's perfectly fine and normal. I mean, it's just that, as Justin has put in our group chat, silence speaks volumes. So there you go.
Just for that, I'm going to go one more guest star that you didn't mention. Terry Laughlin, who plays the judge in this episode, was in the comedy classic, which our friend Mick Manhattan worked on, Ace Ventura Pet Detective Jr., and also The Punisher from 2004.
Oh, okay. The Thomas Jane one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jason, are you ready to give me an answer to a question that I'm going to ask you here? Are you ready to give me your opinion, solely your opinion, and only your opinion to help you?
He was also in Mr. Destiny, which I love that movie. You guys should go watch it. Yes, I do, John. Let's testify!
Testify!
Hopefully our 17-day-old listener is dancing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the plot of this episode is that Ben's case is hindered by evidence tampering by his client and the police. We go to an opening scene. We have the cityscape of Atlanta. We see an outside of a theater. Casey West's name is up there. And all of a sudden, the police and the medics are there at the theater. And this is going to be the thing that is going to be a little bit, in my mind, a little bit problematic. All right. We're going to switch back and forth quite a bit. All right. So we're going to have some of the action and some of the scenes in current time, and then they're going to go back and forth. I got to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of that. That's going to be a gripe of mine. I know I'm showing my cards early, so to speak. Anyways, so Casey's singing at a bar, and Steve Fisher's there, and he's watching, and he's a music guy, a music producer or whatnot. He's a guru, if you will. And so he introduces himself to Casey, and he gives her a card and compliments her. And so this whole scene is being kind of spoken again between Lieutenant, what's his last name? Lieutenant Rutledge and Steve Fisher. Okay. Because Casey, we find out at the end of this scene, is dead. But then we go back in time to another scene where Ben, along with Steve, are hanging out at this place for a business meeting because Steve wants Ben to be a lawyer for a client of his. So Casey meets Ben, but she kind of blows him off. She's kind of rude to him. And so Ben's like, after Steve apologizes, Ben's like, oh, no big deal. So Steve then goes to meet with Casey, and they argue, and basically Casey fires Steve. So Jason, so far, what's your thoughts on this episode right now, just in the few moments and the few scenes we've discussed here?
I am enjoying myself.
Okay. So far, nothing else. You've thoroughly locked in. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back and forth isn't bothering me.
The lieutenant questions Steve regarding the argument, and then notices there's a stain on Steve's shirt. So the lieutenant talks to John, who's the ex-husband, and he says, "Hey, look, I'm still her producer. We didn't get along. She dumped me. She's a drinker, so she drinks all the time, even while singing, And so John is also the one that found Casey dead in her trailer. So we cut to a scene where Steve and Ben are at Steve's house. In fact, it's a house that looks very much like yours.
It does.
Are you living in Steve Fisher's house?
I am, John. That's the trick.
Anyways, Steve shows off all these framed autographs, including one of Randy Travis. In fact, he even tells Ben, I can hook you up with a dinner with Randy Travis if you want it. And Ben's like, okay. Well, the cops show up, and they want to take a look at Steve. They want to say, Steve, can we see your arm? We'd like to see if it's got some gashes in it. Steve's like, nah, my attorney will let me know if I should do that. And he goes and says to Ben, will you be my attorney? And Ben goes, 150 grand and dinner with Randy Travis. Done. And they both agree to it. And then what does Ben do? Steve, roll up that sleeve, of which he's got several gashes and scratches on his arm.
Yeah, and doesn't Ben already know Randy Travis? I know he's playing a different character in the universe Ben knows him in.
Yeah,
he's going to be in the next episode.
Yeah, more on that in a few minutes. I have something to quip about with that. But since Steve has the gashed up arm, the cops take him into custody, and there you go. So our next scene, Ben is on Casey's tour bus, and the lieutenant's there, and he's like, "Look, it's really crowded. Can you leave?" And Ben's like, "If you leave with me." All right, cool. So they discuss the murder weapon. They also discussed that Casey's handkerchief was found in the dumpster. And then we cut to a scene where Leanne and Ben are at home and they chat about the case. And all of a sudden, there's a knock at the door. And Bunny shows up. And Bunny, I don't know how to explain it. She's quite a character. We'll leave her at that. She's quite a card. But she is there to talk to Ben. She needs his help. And Leanne's like, Dad, would you like to explain? But nonetheless, it's discovered that Bunny has been wrongfully accused of solicitation. Of hooker, if you will.
Yeah, and she knows Ben well.
She does. We'll talk about. I'm glad that because I'll be honest with you, for a while I thought they weren't going to explain how they knew each other, and I'm glad we get somewhat of an explanation at the end here. So the lieutenant's at Steve's to search for the murder weapon, and he does something which I question if I guess you're allowed to do it, but he's like, hey, look at these photos. Look at these photos. And, it bothers Steve that he's looking at the murder photos of a dead Casey. But, I mean, I get that they do it at headquarters, but would you do I don't know. I think outside of headquarters, could you get away with doing that? I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not. So, Ben interviews John, the ex-husband, and Casey and John had an argument that night as well about the sound mix, if you will. John also has some gambling issues. In fact, he's about $100,000 in debt to the bookies. And as they wrap up their conversation, John gives Ben a free cassette tape of the latest live concert that Casey West has been recording on this tour. Meanwhile, Steve's lurking around the back of the studio. And so as Ben leaves, Steve needs to get a ballpoint pen, or excuse me, a fountain pen out of Casey's trailer. And he asks John to do it. And like an idiot, John does, because he clearly has never heard of Admiral Akbar. It's a trap! Nothing on the Star Wars joke? Okay. All right. Well, Justin, you just missed a great Star Wars joke. And he says good. Anyways, hey, don't let Justin be the only one chiming in. If you're watching, if you're listening, just go ahead and chime on in as well. In fact, Jason, where they can get in touch with us if they have a question or concern about this episode or any episode of Mattalk for that matter.
First of all, rate and review us if you're listening to us on audio platforms. Please, it helps a lot. Also, you guys can email us anytime. benmattalk@gmail.com. The email goes straight to my cell phone, and I will respond pretty quickly. So, yeah, reach out to us. Let us know what's up. You could end up on this show just like Daniel and Elizabeth did.
And you can also find us on Facebook at Mattalk Podcast, and we're also available on YouTube and all those other streaming services as well for the live feed. So we cut to a scene in the courtroom where John is on the stand. And John testifies to, he's like, hey, yeah, Steve asked me to go get this fountain pen out of Casey's trailer. I didn't really want to do it, et cetera, et cetera. But then Ben and Steve, they argue about today's testimony. Like, look, Steve, you went to the trailer, you found Casey dead, as that's what Steve reveals, because he's been, I didn't tell you this, Ben, and that makes Ben even more angry. Steve saw the knife. He knew it was there beside the body. And then we cut to another scene where Steve comes home, and somebody, we don't know who, manages to walk up to his convertible Corvette and drop the bloody knife into the car. The one thing
Steve is dumb. I mean, he is like.
No, he is.
So many things in this episode where you shouldn't do that. You're just making yourself look bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, on top of the fact of like, I don't know, like I've never had a convertible car, but I think like if I knew like I was under the watchful eye of the police and there's this possibility that I may have been set up, I'm putting that roof up. I don't care that it's going to take me 10 minutes. I'm putting that roof up and locking those doors.
Yeah, 1,000%. And yeah, no offense, John. I'm not breaking into a crime scene to remove evidence for you. Like, who does that?
Oh, man.
I mean, we'll find out kind of why this guy decided to do that at the end of the episode. But
that's it. That's it. Show's over. You won't break into it. That's it. Goodbye.
All right. Well, that's fine. I can carry this episode by myself. How?
No, I agree with you. Steve has done a lot of stupid things in this episode, and the other thing that I was going to mention that I did enjoy the fact that they only showed you a hand, so I like the fact that it wasn't as obvious as some other episodes where we kind of know who is dropping the murder weapon. This one, it could have been Lieutenant, it could have been John, it could have been Steve. It could have been anybody. So I like that. So we go back to the courthouse where Leanne and Bunny are there. And Leanne wants to know, how do you know my father? And before she can answer, Ben comes in and they go to the front of the courtroom where the judge reads the verdict. And she gives him a little winky wink, and so he's like, the verdict is you got to come back next week, 9 a.m., et cetera, et cetera.
I think Leanne should just let this go. You don't want to know how your dad knows this lady.
I know. This is another example of Leanne being somewhat inappropriate. Yeah, with the older men, because there's going to be an episode coming up where she gets that way with Ace Calhoun, and it's a little touchy-feely, if you will.
Where are our special detectives at? Because we introduced Dan Roebuck, and we're 6 episodes in, and he still hasn't shown back up yet.
No, he hasn't. And Conrad is MIA as well, and I think they would be very. I think one of those two would be a great fit for this episode. But more on that in a little bit. So Ben's going over the pictures again that the lieutenant had, and Steve knocks at the door. He's got the knife in on a bag. Again, another stupid thing to be doing. Steve and Ben argue over getting the police involved, and Ben caves and just hangs up the phone after the cops answer. This is like, at least he found it and he decided to bring it to Ben instead of being stupid and being like, I'm just gonna go and turn this into the pawn shop or whatever. So we go to the courtroom. There's the lieutenant is on the stand. Ben shows that the fountain pen is in one of the pictures, but yet not in another picture. And the negative for those pictures are MIA. Here's my question. Where's Bob Brooks?
Well, Bob Brooks, he only shows up when he needs to. So
I know.
This guy, so all the negatives were in order. They had all the negatives except for the one photo that had the pen in it. And yeah, it's very suspicious because it wasn't in that roll of film.
I'm just saying, Bob Brooks, we've come to expect him to be the law, the letter of the law, so to speak. And now we're stuck with Lieutenant, whatever his name is, anyways. So, anyways,
we couldn't have Bob Brooks get lose his shield over falsifying evidence.
That's true. That's true. So the lieutenant was the first on the scene. And so basically it's noted or theorized that he framed up the pick of the pen, and he also put the knife in the car. And in what was very quick and a weird turnaround, the lieutenant crumbles. He's saying that Steve he killed Casey. He killed her because he changed her name. He changed her look. He gave her money. He made her a totally different person. And that's because we find out the lieutenant and Casey were a thing. And so the lieutenant blames Steve for everything that happened. So basically, it's revenge killing, but the lieutenant said, I didn't kill her. And weirdly enough, there's no, there's nothing. We go right into the next scene there's one more note. The lieutenant said that he went to the show as a spectator. That's why he was the first one on the scene, because after the show, he was at a bar across the street from the theater. But then there's nothing else brought up about it. Like, he just, we were together, and so that leads us into Ben and Leanne chatting about the case. And Leanne bought her own KC tape. Ben tells her very proudly, well, mine was free.
I didn't know bootlegs made it into retailers.
Yeah, I think that's totally wrong. Because bootleg cassettes and CDs were a thing that you bought at flea markets and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I guess I could see it making its way into a mom and pop shop who wouldn't really notice that slight difference.
Right.
Because they were bootlegging on a professional scale.
Mm-hmm. So basically that becomes part of the testimony that John, the ex-husband, gives, where he talks about what piracy is, about how, they would take the two mixes and they would, find a way to kind of mimic the packaging and everything, and then sell it and get a cut. All right. So different tapes have different information on it, which is what he points out. And so basically John had given Ben a pirated tape. And so Casey and John, that's what they were arguing over, because John was making pirated tapes, as evident by what he gave Ben. And so they went back and forth. And so John ends up stabbing Casey. And then he's still the first one to find the body because he leaves and comes back. But John's jeans had bloody pockets, and the bloody handkerchief that he used to wipe down the knife got shoved in the pockets, and that's how the blood got transferred. So I guess that means that court case is over, and although we don't get any clarification on that, because we got to move on, man. We got another one, another fate to decide, and that is the fate of one Bunny. And so Bunny thankfully gets acquitted, or as I wrote down, Bunny gets off. Ben took, and we get the whole story that Bunny was dating some senator, and the senator didn't want to date her anymore, so he pawned her off on Ben. Ben went out with her like once, and from all of the, was there wine, was there dancing, was there food,
They went back to her place for wine and some dancing, and then he had a hot dog and his stomach hurt, so he went home.
Yeah. And then so basically it's left up that maybe, Ben got lucky. And I wrote down, Leanne, it's none of your business.
No, I mean, Ben didn't get lucky. That's why she owes him one.
Oh, that's right. Because he didn't feel raw after the hot dog. Yeah. But still, Leanne should mind her own business, right?
She should.
She should.
Right. I mean, she asked.
Yeah, but again,
I like that whole sequence, man. I meant to tape it on my phone so I could play the clip because I just love Andy Griffith in that moment. He's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
All right. All right. Since we missed the opening statements at the beginning of the show, let's go ahead and get into those closing statements.
This is the part of the podcast where John and I will rate the show on a gavel system. 1 gavel means 5 gavels means we loved it. Negative 37 gavels means we're going to find a lady of the night, move to Saudi Arabia, and live there in the winters. John, where do you rate this show on your gavel system?
First of all, that was an inside joke about living in Saudi Arabia. So just so that they were crystal clear. And by the way, we should also should we reveal that that's really not your house either?
That is my house.
That's not your house, man.
You can't prove anything. You can't prove anything. I'm going to go then. I give this episode a 3 on the gavel system. I'm going to give it to John. I liked it quite a bit. I had a lot of fun with it. I liked the end sequence with Ben and his daughter. Just Andy Griffith just made me laugh both times I watched this episode. And overall, I enjoyed it.
I picked a 3.
Yeah.
I picked a 3. I thought that you would find it kind of middle of the road. All right. I gave it a 2.
See, John's a party pooper, guys. He doesn't like the fun episodes.
You got 2.5 though. You gave me 2.5, and you were correct.
I knew you were going to be a party pooper.
Well, look, I liked the idea of a crooked police officer. I liked that idea, even though it really didn't come to fruition. I disliked the jumping back and forth in the storyline. Like I just found that to be a little bit. They could have done it better. To me, it seems like it was an afterthought. Let's cut it that way.
You know what's wild is one of the reasons it got a 3 for me in the season of 2-parters that this season has been. This could have been a 2-parter.
Yeah, it could. It would have been a better tale. Absolutely. I didn't much care for Casey's acting. I thought it was kind of blah. The bunny storyline was fine. I put it in my plus column, but you missed an opportunity. If this is a one-shot episode, why didn't we have a cameo by Randy Travis?
Because he's in the next episode, man. Can't blow the budget.
Oh, well. Anyways, I guess we got a comment here real quick from Liz. So I give it a 3. Bunny is unnecessary, but Leanne is growing on me.
I said between the two of us, so I'm technically right.
Yeah, somewhat. Anyway, so that wraps up the singer. And with that, we should probably talk about our other podcasting projects. So, Jason, what's happening with the 3 Geeks podcast?
We're live Saturdays at 7 p.m. I just dropped the short, The Naked Gun. Guys, go share, comment, or like that video, and I will enter you into a drawing to win a free 4K copy of the film.
Really? Wow, that's great. People, you need to jump on that because it's a hell of a movie, by the way. I got to say, it's fantastic because we talked about it 2 weeks ago. So, anything else?
So many things. Justin and I, we had a visual effects guy, or I guess more so, visual effects set design, reach out to us that we're interviewing this week. So that'll be a lot of fun. He worked on, I think, Jurassic Park 3 and some newer stuff that's pretty relevant. So super excited to talk to him.
Cool. The PVD Cast is my own personal podcasting project. Right now, we have an episode with a guy who goes by just one name and one name only, Raw. And Raw is an independent comic book creator here in Columbus. He's got a new comic called Tag and Quest, which has to deal with, I'll give you the basic plot, a futuristic society where graffiti is magical. It's a cool tale. So check that out at pvdcast.com or wherever you find great podcasts. So
Also, guys, remember, go to Tubi.com, coupon code PVDcast for your free Tubi account.
I would like the record to show that I am going to go watch Assault on Precinct 13, and it is not on Tubi. I'm not watching on Tubi. I'm watching it on DVD.
I think it is on Tubi, though.
It probably is. Probably has both versions, the crappy remake and then the original.
Have you seen the remake?
I've never seen the remake, no.
Okay, Max, how do you know it's crappy if you haven't seen it yet?
Well, I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to say it's
Man.
probably crappy. You know what? No, I'm going to be Mr. Positive. Maybe the remake is good.
And maybe you'll love the original so much that you'll go check out the remake. Who's in the remake?
Ethan Hawke. That's all I know. I don't know who else. You're
Isn't
Googling it.
Is in it too?
Possibly. I don't know.
Okay.
There's no. It's not LL Cool J. It's another rapper. It's Oh shoot.
Hold on, I'm looking.
Okay, so look it up. But I think it's not LL Cool J. It's another rapper that's in it.
John Carpenter still was involved with writing this thing. We got Ethan Hawke, Lawrence Fishburne, Drea DiMatto, John Leguizamo, Brian Dennehy. Drumroll, everybody. Ja Rule.
Ja Rule. See, I told you it was a rapper, but clearly not the same level as LL Cool J. So
no.
All right, let's get on out of here, Jason. So what do you say? As they say in court?
Nothing further.